Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
Girls of Reddit, what's the female equivalent of trying to hide a boner? Back in the days of bulky menstrual pads, it was horrible when you didn't anchor it down quite right and suddenly you had a pad wedgie. Front or back, both were a proper chore to adjust in the wild. As a breastfeeding mother, when my husband gets me excited, my boobs leak. Getting your period when you're not expecting or springing a leak. No one wants that stain on the back of their pants for everyone to see. Having to wear an audible feminine hygiene product. Some honestly sound like you're wearing a plastic bag in your underwear. But if you get caught out, sometimes you're reduced to wearing one. You spend the rest of the day trying to move as carefully as possible so not to make too much noise. One that I've found out recently. When you're breastfeeding, you go out for whatever reason and then you leak. Through your bra and through your shirt and you just have giant wet patches on your chest. It's horrifying. Oh Jesus. The breastfeeding one. I'd be in the grocery store. Someone else's baby would cry. And the floodgates opened. I wore a lot of patterned shirts because the patches aren't as obvious. And perfected that subtle forearm press to get my body to get a clue. It also tends to happen when you're happy about something. The most extreme version is the taps coming on during sex and damn near drowning your partner. But it doesn't have to be that good a time. I saw a trailer for a video game franchise I like and drenched the front of my nightgown. You know when your boyfriend keeps taking his penis all the way out of you and putting it back in and shoving a whole bunch of air inside of you. And then you try to avoid queefing. But you really can't because queefs don't work that way. Putting a jacket around your waist at school because you're self-conscious that there is blood on your pants during the time of the month. I'm a guy but I have a funny story about this. I work with a girl and she came into the break room one morning wearing some velvet pants in a wine sort of color. I said, "Hey look, you wore your minstrel pants today." To me they looked like something from a minstrel show that you would see at a Renaissance fair. I could tell by the panicked look on her face that she didn't get the connection. Then she looked down and quickly left, and that was when I realized that she must have heard menstrual pants. And I start saying, "Ya know, minstrel," like in a traveling lute player. So we had a good laugh about it later, but I've never seen her wear those pants again. Crossing your legs very tightly. Or my friend calls it, riding the seam, when you have fitted jeans on and you're sitting. You can wiggle slightly and the seam will rub. I don't wear jeans that tight. Though, lol. Trying to hide erect nipples. It's not necessarily cold outside or in a situation where I'm turned on. They just do it. Also, sometimes you just get really wet down there. Fabrics that show up sweat patches also show up other wet patches. They are also in the places you can't always see. Nipples and dicks have their own minds. The only way they can be controlled is getting turned on purpose, and that only controls stuff one way around. Lovely username by the way. I don't know if everyone experiences this or not, but every so often I get this intense tingle itch sent to my clit. And when it happens in public it is excruciating not to be able to adjust it or make it go away. Normally only lasts up a minute, but oh my god. Getting underwear stuck up your crack or vag and having to do a sort of wiggle to get it loose. So this is the female equivalent of having your balls stick to your leg. Hiding a period stain or hiding the pain on her face from period cramp when in public. While I was still in the office a few months ago and was in the middle of a sentence to a couple of male coworkers when I had a bout of the most horrendous cramp imaginable. The first one hit out of nowhere with a stabbing pain that caused me to stop in the middle of a word with a huge involuntary intake of breath. Audible, up, double over and clutch the desk for support. All completely involuntary. I was embarrassed, but their immediate reaction was concern and understanding and making sure I was okay. OMG. Are you okay? Have you got terrible cramp? In addition to reassuring comments about their wife and girlfriend suffering the same thing so as to let me know they were used to it and okay talking about it. Discreetly asking another colleague for painkillers as I had to sit down to ride out the waves of pain. and making me a cup of tea. I love working with good, kind, grown-up blokes. Trying to extract a hair from between your boobs when you don't actually know where it is will probably be the equivalent to adjusting your dick, I guess. Yeah, that sounds more like adjusting your junk to get it unstuck from your thigh. How about the condensation on a chair after standing up? That strip of moisture that has accumulated due to the moist environment between your legs? I know it's from that and is normal, but it always trips me up. I just don't like it, lol. Also, do guys do this? Edit. Wow. Thank you fellow Redditors for the awards. I was unaware so many people had the same issue and that so many people struggled with this alongside me. Y'all are the bee's knees. Thank you again. Yes, that happens sometimes. If I'm aware that it is a possibility, I try to remember to just slide a little in my seat as I get up. It effectively wipes the moisture spot with the pants material covering your butt. Feeling an alarming dampness in your underwear during your period and realizing that you've probably completely filled your pad. Followed by the fear of your pants being stained. The awkward moment when you're talking to someone and feel your period start. Or just random sudden flow during. Bonus. One time while I was talking to my boss, the front clip on my cheap bra actually just randomly snapped. One time in 8th grade, I am sitting in English class. There was a sudden whoosh by my ear through my hair, which made me jump. Thought it was a fly or something. Several class periods later, the kid behind me taps me on the shoulder to say, "Your tag is sticking out of your shirt." I feel back where my tag is. It's inside my shirt. Whatever. I get home and turn into the bathroom in front of the mirror, where the strap of my convertible bra is clearly visible, dangling out the top of my shirt and down my back. It came unhooked and I walked around all day like that. ETA, apparently there are a lot of men that don't know what a convertible bra is. It's a medieval torture device still in use today, a strapless bra like just the cups and band that goes round the back, with little hooks in the front and back so you can attach bra straps or move them around in different configurations, halter, one strap, racer back, etc. Straps are supposed to come detached, but not as projectiles of pubescent embarrassment. Definitely agree with the period stain, but I am here for some advice. I work with kids with severe special needs, and so I am very familiar with unwanted boners. We obviously recognize that it's a natural occurrence, but also not something we want our students to be laughed at for, or occasionally they will try to start other actions to fix it. Our solution is to have the kids wash their hands with cold water up to the elbow. It makes it disappear right away 90% of the time. Physical exercise, it pumps blood to the muscles being used. Away from the penis. Think flexing the arm for 30 seconds. Or squatting. Or push-ups or sit-ups. Takes a few seconds. Edit, upper body muscles may work best, as it pumps blood away from your nether regions. Your loins. Your genitals. Edit 2, maybe not push-ups cause your meat will take a beating, ha. Also someone mentioned glute, thigh muscles can be really effective. Perhaps due to how close they are to the problem area, thereby affecting it faster. Also, the larger the muscle, the more blood it pulls away from your erection. The real answer to this question is realizing out of the blue that you might leave a blood stain on whatever surface you're sitting on, and shifting around uncomfortably to prevent direct contact. The fear of damaging another person's property is considerably more potent than shame. Hiding normal discharge wet spots. I dunno if it's just me, but mid-cycle I cannot keep my underwear dry to save my life. Add yoga pants to the mix and voila, looks like you pissed yourself a little. When I'm not on cycle, discharge comes like crazy. One time I wore a long dress to school, and I was soaking wet from discharge. Not turned on, and could feel it on my legs. No, just no. I think for me it's breathing heavy, lol. When I get turned on I have to try really hard to keep my breath calm. I swear I have like an aroused energy that radiates too, and that just makes it worse. This. Plus when I'm aroused in a place I shouldn't be, I tend to shimmy my thighs tightly together back and forth. Sorta like a much slower, trying to be discreet, pee dance. It usually just ends up getting me more aroused though. Wearing a bra that's thinner than you thought and having your nipples stick out. I've held a book or a file up to my chest like an anime schoolgirl clutching a love note. I didn't wear a bra once. But I wore a black shirt, so I figured they were adequately covered. Apparently sunlight made it completely see-through. And I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me. I had been out walking all day that day. I was just telling my husband this: my commute takes me through a popular cyclist route. I told him a lot of people have taken up cycling lately. And not very many of them have figured out cycling shorts have similar opaque, see-through issues as cheap legging. Sometimes my nipples decide they'd like to let the world know they exist. And I just can't hide them. They'll be noticeable through padded bras and pullovers. No, I have small nipples and no effing clue why they do this. It's not related to my cycle. Nor to temperature. They just have bold days. Same with boners. Sometimes we're not even turned on but our dicks are like, "Heyo, what's up people, how's y'all doing?" and we just have to accept it and walk oddly until we manage to get everything in its place. Happens with our nipples too, but because male nipples are not really sexualized. Unlike female nipples, that situation is not as uncomfortable. Camel toe. Literally the bane of my entire existence. I'm always pulling down the crotch of my pants because I think it's showing. My solution to this is really thin panty liners. You can barely feel them and they sort of smooth the appearance of your crotch so that camel toe won't show. Well, as a very fair-skinned person, I blush very easily, and there's nothing like a super hot guy to make it happen uncontrollably. I also get bullet hard nips for hormonal reasons rather than just the cold, and it can be very hard to hide at times. For the super not sexy TMI answer to this post. Let's talk crotch leakage. So long story short, I and many other women go through phases of urinary incontinence. It can happen after giving birth. It can be connected to IBS, food sensitivities, old age, loss of muscle tone, weight gain, or anxiety. Mine is for the latter too. So there are phases I go through where no matter how often I shower and put on fresh clothes, I will have horrible swamp crotch within hours. Cotton underwear, breathable clothes. I've tried it all. It makes little difference. The only semi-solution is to constantly wear a pad to absorb the mix of sweat and uncontrollable urine leaks. It's never a gush of pee like when you actually pee, but a few small dribbles that amount to enough wet to soak your underclothes and eventually seep to outer layers. So apart from the smell which often wafts up to my nose, I have to be concerned about a visible wet spot on my crotch, whatever I sit on. Whenever I get up from a plastic chair, I scoot my butt across it sideways, to wipe away any incriminating leaks that would otherwise show up on the chair. Vaginas are great fun. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.